What up all, how you all doing today? I am Just Rob Tech and this is the Presonus PD-70 Dynamic microphone and we're going to take a look at it today. So what you get in the box? Well, basically you get the microphone and the microphone already has the mount to it and you get the windsock. That's all you get. That's literally all you get. I'm happy with it. The technical specifications is obviously this is a dynamic microphone. It has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. A cardioid polar pattern. Yes, I've been practicing, people. I can now say it. See? Cardioid polar pattern. Hypercardioid polar pattern. Supercardioid polar pattern. I've been practicing. And obviously an outpedance of 350 ohms. So with it being a dynamic microphone, you're going to have to make sure that your audio interface can power this thing. I've got it running into my Studio 26C, obviously by Presonus, so you have no trouble running on it. I've currently got the gain dial set to about 3 o'clock, but obviously I think you can use this like directly into the computer, even using like an XLR to USB, but I do think XLR is probably the best way to run it. I think it's a very bright sounding microphone. I like it a lot. So I've paused the media source playing in the background just to show you the if it picks up any background noise, and then we'll also do a quick test where we just tap on the microphone and then we'll also tap on the boom arm. That's some serious shake. Yeah, and obviously we'll do a quick plosive test with the windsock and obviously with the windsock off. So Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub, they bought some pints, and then they popped home and made himself some pancakes. Paul picked up Peter from the post office. They popped to the pub, they had some pints, and they popped home and made some pancakes. That's my plosive test, that is. It's just a story about Paul and Peter leaving the post office, going to the pub, get some pints, and finishing it with some pancakes, man. It's an emotional story, a roller coaster. I think this is a very bright sounding microphone, a lot more brighter than the DB30. I find the DB30 is a lot more dark, more like a warmer sort of tone. So I do find that in OBS with this, I've got to crank up the bass frequencies just a little bit on the equalizer, and then lower the brightness, or the highs slightly, just to make it a bit more rounded voice. And obviously we'll do a comparison now of the microphones I've got. So this is the Presonus PD-70 Dynamic microphone. And this is the Sub-Zero DB30. This is also another dynamic microphone aimed at the broadcast market. I've got the same settings running on the PD-70. Here's how the microphone sounds in comparison to the Presonus PD-70. Now we are back on the Presonus PD-70 for a palette cleanser. Here's how the microphone sounds. On to the next one. And this is the SE Electronics V7, also a handheld dynamic microphone in comparison to the PD-70. Here's how the microphone sounds. I have adjusted this slightly because I think when last time I opened this up to give it a bit of a clean out, I just stuffed the internal windsocks in, and it literally just like clamped all around the microphone, so that's why it sounded a little bit bassy. So it should sound a little bit better. But here's how it sounds in comparison to the PD-70. And now we are back on the Presonus PD-70 for a palette cleanser. Here's how it sounds in comparison to the SE Electronics V7 microphone. How do you think it sounds? Let me know in the comments. And then on to the next one now. You know it's going to be the Behringer. And just like that, we are on the Behringer XM8500 dynamic microphone. Can't believe this has gone up to £25 now. I think I got this for a steal years ago when it was like £17.99. So yeah, I think with all the reviews that people are doing on this, that's probably why it's gone up. So shame on you. It was a cheap deal. And it's just slightly, a little bit more expensive. Nothing to complain about at all. I think it's a great microphone. And what a shocker, we are back on the Presonus PD-70 microphone. How do you think it sounds in comparison to the Behringer? On to the next one. And look what we know, we're on to the last one, which is the Rode M2, which is a condenser microphone, not a dynamic microphone, but it operates the same way as a dynamic microphone, obviously taking all the vocals to the front, but it uses phantom power, which I've currently got to 12 o'clock, because obviously I don't want to blow my ears out or your ears out by having it peak into like a hell while it's set to 3 o'clock with phantom power going into it. That would be very stupid of me to do that. But this is the Rode M2. Now back to the P70 and my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this microphone. Well, personally, after listening to the comparisons between the other microphones in obviously post-recording, I do find that I prefer my voice on this microphone. It's been my daily driver ever since I sort of bought it a year or so ago now. And I think it's still the sort of same price. So it's in that sort of £100 area, so like the pod mic, the AT2040, so the Presonus comes in around that sweet spot market, which is my favorite sort of price point. Obviously you've got like, you know, your SM7Bs, which are like a £350 microphone, or you got the Electro Voice line, which, you know, 400 to 500. I think the 320 is around the same price as the Shure, depending on where you get it from, maybe a bit cheaper. But I kind of think the £100 market, 100 to 150 is where the really competitive market's going at the moment. Obviously you've got companies trying to get into the broadcast dynamic market, a lot more creativity, obviously a lot more bargains as well. I mean, this was, when I bought it, it was about £90 to £100. It's probably about the same price now, so it's around that sort of, obviously the price point for the pod mic and obviously the AT2040 like I mentioned. I prefer the brighter sound of this compared to the DB30, for instance. I find the DB30 is just a little bit too dark for my voice, especially when listening back how it sounds through this. No matter how much I've tried to tinker with the EQ on the DB30, I can't get it to sound like it does on here. I find there's like a little bit too much bass. So I personally find that this microphone, like, it sounds great to me. I really, really like it. I'll see a few things to complain about. Obviously, the windsock hasn't really stood the test of time. This was quite a tight windsock when I first got it, and now it just comes off with no effort at all. But that's something that could be easily replaced. You can just go on to Amazon and pick up like a decent sized windsock, so there's nothing to really complain about. The mounting system I like, but I say it does pick up the tapping on the microphone by accident. But other than that, you could probably get yourself a better shock mount for it, really. How do you think it sounds? Obviously, let me know in the comments if you do watch this. Obviously, this mic does retail for about £90 to £100, depending where you get it from. I'll put a link in the description where you can probably find it on Amazon, or I'll have a look online, see where the cheapest place that's doing it, if you do fancy picking this up. But if you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you really want to watch some more of these videos, subscribe, you know, why not? Come and join the fun. But thanks again for watching, folks. This has been another review. See you next time.